People are becoming a little bit more understanding of the situation in this country. People are waking up. People are smelling the coffee. People are realizing and at the point where they cannot be fooled anymore. The good people of St. Martin know who is for them and who is against them. And they see the writing on the wall. And so for us, it has been a wonderful time. I appreciate every single body that I've touched, everyone who has taken time out to listen to our message, listen to our ideas and possibilities for this country. We thank everyone who has joined us on our living wage campaign to be able to finally bring us back into better days, how it was back then in St. Martin, where people had more purchasing power in their pockets. Your money could have gone far. Working 2 and 3 jobs is not a necessity, but it was an aim to reach somewhere. And so I think that, and I believe that we are close, very close, in order to bring real change in St. Martin, and not change that is only focused on construction, but change or construction, and I mean by that construction of facilities, construction of buildings and construction of projects, but the true construction, the true project, which is the reconstruction of our people. I think they are very receptive of that. They are receptive of the USP party. They understood and understand that the USP party for over 70 years were not responsible for putting us through this condition that we are in today. They understand and understood that their pain and suffering is not the fault of the USP, but they also recognize and realize that it's only the USP can take us out of this situation. And so for us, it has been wonderful. I'm very grateful, even though I may not have touched as much people that I may have wanted to touch because of the time span that we have to be able to put a campaign together. And as a matter of fact, during that campaign, I had to fly out because my grandfather passed away in New York, so that took some time out too as well. But the little time that I've had, and I have a wonderful team, a strong campaign team who has picked up a lot of the slack on my side and not being there. And we are hopeful that the people of St. Martin, come Thursday morning, wake up with a new horizon. Come Thursday morning, wake up to a new chapter in their lives, a chapter not for themselves, but a chapter for their children and their children's children. And I believe strong-heartedly, 10 years ago, when Country St. Martin became Country St. Martin, a lot of us felt that it was a new day. And 10 years later, we realized we just received a bounce check that came back insufficient funds. And they have now understood who and what will be able to take us to that top. And I'm very grateful for the time that we've had with the people of St. Martin. And it is an honor to always serve. It's an honor to be with them, stand with them, feel and hear their pain. Because at the end of the day, the poor man needs a hero. The poor man needs to know that there's somebody out there that is looking out for him, somebody there that is fighting for his needs, somebody out there that wants him to be able to sit at a table, somebody out there that cares so much enough that they will forsake all and give up all just so that they can have a brighter future. And so for me, I very much appreciate it. It is a cross that a lot of us have to bear, that few can bear that cross. And it is a cross that I have borne for 10 years now, and I will continue to bear that cross for my people, and I'm hopeful come Thursday, January 9th, that our people realize and give me the opportunity to come back into Parliament and to finish what I started. Because 10 years ago is 10 years too long. We should have seen much more in this country where our people are concerned. So for me, it is about building, reconstructing, reorganizing, reshaping the minds and the lives of our people. And that starts from the bottom, from our children, come all the way up to our elderly.
Now tell me a little bit about the project that you want to have presented in Parliament. You've been talking a little on your platform. How far are you out with that now?
Well, we are finished. We worked on it for 2 years now, a living wage campaign. We looked at the minimum wage ordinance. We defined it. We gave objectives to the minister in that ordinance. and that ordinance will be able to bring about price control in this country and force the government to do price control. That would force the government to regulate and create a living wage that no matter what salary you take home now from work, that it must be able to take care of your basic needs, which is housing, food, shelter, water, electricity, internet, something that has never been done before in St. Martin. And I have always been someone who has done things that people say that are impossible. They thought it was impossible that, or unimaginable, that we can really have young men on St. Martin being part of the garbage cleaning contracts in this country, and that was a reality. When they thought it was impossible for us to be able to have the resources to put a meal program for all our kids in our school, I made it a reality. They thought it was impossible that we could even imagine to have a country where every single person that works in St. Martin can go home after they reach the age of pension with a pension plan. I brought that legislation to make it a reality. So there's a lot of things that I have always done that people thought it could not be possible, and this is one of them. And so I'm happy for it, I'm grateful for it. There's another one that we worked on too as well that we have not presented but waiting for the right time, and that is because the second chamber in Holland made a statement where it concerns the liquidity monies for St. Martin, that they want that the new members of parliament after election come in have a reduction in their salaries in order for them to receive that money. And so, you know the saying, "Viva Pal Batal," he who pays the piper calls the tune. And so at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, they're the one who is paying. And so sometimes we have to walk to their and dance to their music because we were not wise enough at the time years ago to be able to create things for ourselves. So what we did was we created a legislation just in case for all members of parliament and also all ministers, and also the minister plenipotentiary and deputy minister plenipotentiary, to say, guys, let's do something groundbreaking. Let's do something different. Let's not just say that we're going to cut our salaries just for cutting its sake, but let us do it and put it into something good. And so I propose that in cutting and reducing our salaries as members of parliament and also ministers, that is not going to hurt us at all. It's not a lot that the legislation is asking for. We're still going to be okay. We're still going to be able to live and take care of the things that we need to take care of. But let's take that money and put it into a meal program that can feed our children. So we don't have to worry about the private sector getting involved. You don't have to worry about the government companies like the airport getting involved, that every single member of parliament, every single minister can now feel that they are responsible in making sure that our children have a meal in the morning time to go to school, because at the end of the day, we cannot say education is the key in this country while our kids are going to school hungry. We cannot say the children are our future, and that future is fainting away in school or gas in their stomachs because they didn't have anything to eat in the morning time. We cannot say and we cannot depend on our teachers to take up the slack, to take monies out of their pocket to feed the kids, to buy school supplies and all the different things that the teachers go above and beyond every single day for the school year. And so I think that is a good gesture. I think it's a symbolic gesture, and it's a gesture that no one can complain about because it is going for a good cause.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
I am here at the Melford Hazel Sport Facility in Soccer Garden, and here you can see that since Hurricane Irma, this facility has not yet been repaired. You can see the damages on the lights, you can see the basketball hoops, you can see that the children cannot use this as the way it's supposed to be used. So the 1 cent per liter gasoline and the 1 cent per liter diesel is what will be used in order to bring this facility back up to par so that our youths, our children can use it the way it was intended. We are here at the Raulele Sport Complex in Cahill, and we can see that the damages of Hurricane Irma is still visible, and all of it has not yet been repaired. I am here by the St. Peter's Basketball Court, by the Rupert Maynard Community Center. Here you can see that this basketball court that is so much needed for the children still need repairs, and you can see the damages of Hurricane Irma still visible. I am Rudolph Samuel, your number 6 candidate on the National Alliance slate. I am asking you for your support and your vote in the upcoming parliamentary elections on January 9th, 2020.
Beats Craze.
We are midweek and no cruise ships are in our port.
That we take St. Martin further into what the cruise industry can offer us as a destination.
The government of St. Martin signed the MOU with Airbnb. Vote for me, Stuart Johnson, because you matter.
We have had various public sessions. It was transparent. We show exactly how the process is, and it's important to show that now that how far we are thus far. We've had the voting cards disseminated to the addresses, and we received the voting cards back. A total of 1,420 voting cards were returned back to the civil registry. And now, of course, since the return, persons still had opportunity to go to the civil registry to collect their voting cards. They had the opportunity to do so even yesterday, today, and also tomorrow up until 7 p.m. at the civil registry. And also on the date of election, they will have the opportunity to do so. I will also let Mrs. Snyder comment on that. It concerns election day and the collecting of voting cards as well. She will elaborate on that. Now, without any further ado, what I would want to do is, as I promised, go to my right, Mr. Johnson, if you can actually indicate to the people of St. Martin what the tasks are of ROMI in terms of election and the assistance that you provide to us, and why you're such an important stakeholder to the Central Voting Bureau.
One of our main tasks is to make sure the voting districts are prepared and ready so everybody could vote. We started with this preparation since the election was called, together with the census office. We went visit all the voting districts to check what need to be done, what kind of preparation, repairs need to be done to them, so for Thursday everything will be in place. The preparation are basically we basically ready. Today, we will be installing booths in 9 voting districts. Tomorrow, we will be complete the rest of the 20, so that for Thursday morning, as soon they open, they will be able to go in and cast the votes.
During the parliamentary elections 2020, on Thursday, January the 9th, the Department of Communication, in collaboration with cable TV, will be bringing hourly updates from the different polling stations throughout the day at 9 a.m. with Ms. Rolika Roach from the Department of Communication. You can tune in to our official radio station of government, which is St. Martin Gov radio station 107.9 FM. Also, stream live via www.stmartingov.org, election 2020, Facebook, www.facebook.com, St. Martin Gov, and also the www.facebook.com St. Martin Park. It's going to be right here covering from the House of the People, which is Parliament. You can also tune in to cable TV, channel 115. The hourly updates will be distributed to all media houses on St. Martin. The Department of Communication will air live footage of results coming in from the different polling stations. Interviews with political analysts, Mr. Julio Romney. We also have Mr. Jose Lake Jr. and Mr. Ronald Hunoneveld. Television specials with the Ombudsman, Central Voting Bureau, and public service announcements on how to vote in English, Dutch, French, Spanish, Creole throughout the day. This is very important, especially to show all eligible voters on how to vote in the different languages. And I think that's a very good inspiration, especially working with the civil registry and other stakeholders on how to teach the eligible voters, especially how to vote, so that we don't have no more those blank, votes of invalid votes.
Happy New Year, happy 2020, and safe election. Indeed, we are busy. We're not ready. We're busy, almost ready for election 2020. We have been preparing all our polling station members, the 100 members, to have a smooth operation in their polling stations. What we wish, and for sure with the police force of St. Martin, we are very sure with the presentation that they gave us that we will have a smooth election day, especially at the polling stations. We are prepared in the sense of the 4 classes that the members had in the course of October up to now. Yesterday was our last session with them. They are all prepared and they are ready, well informed with all the equipments that they need for the election day. We have established all the rules and regulations with them. Also, one very important information is that this year, again, we are informing the general public that before 5 o'clock, if you cannot find your voting card, or you're missing, or you didn't receive it, come to the civil registry before going to the polling stations. There are various reasons for that, seeing that we have in the past, or this year, adjust regulate that some district, the amount of voters have moved to another district. That means that you're not automatically at the same polling station as previous years. So we want to emphasize on that. Go first to the civil registry, collect your voting cards. As Ms. Rogers just said, we are open today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday to collect your voting cards. Thursday we will close at 6 o'clock. So up to 5 o'clock, if you reach at the polling stations, we give them the rights to send the voter back to the civil registry to collect their voting cards. Also, we want to remind all the eligible voters to come out with they have to do it in person. Second, they have a valid identification card, driver license of St. Martin, or a passport, and also their voting cards. Please don't forget that when you're coming to the polling stations.
We are expecting more or less 23,000 plus passengers, but that's not counting crew members also that will be moving around. This will mean for us that we will have an operation all hands on deck and all hands on deck plus, I must say, because it required us, because of the situation, to fly in officers also from Curacao, Aruba, and Bonaire to assist us in the operation so that we can make sure that public order and safety is maintained during the voting, and also be able to deal with the situation of having so many passengers at one time on the island. Our main focus will be naturally the polling stations, to have everything safe and orderly when eligible voters come to vote. And next to that, our main focus for that day, and here we want to ask the general public to cooperate with our officers, is the traffic situation on the island. I just mentioned the amount of cruise passengers that we will be having. And this brings normally a situation where these passengers go on tours. And one of the main tours that they go to is Sunset Beach, and have to be back at the cruise facilities within a certain time. We know that it's a tradition, and I think sometimes even a nice tradition, that everyone wants to move around from polling station to polling station on that day. That will bring extra traffic measures that have to be taken to ensure that we can also get the passengers back to the cruise at a certain moment. So we'll be making use of all the possibilities that we have, and with that I want to mention our drone possibilities. We'll have 3 times on that day a live feed, so that everyone can be able to take note of where the traffic situation is. But I would want to ask everyone who's in traffic and making use of the roads on that day, please cooperate with the taxi that have to reach back to the cruise. We'll be also, I think, 3 times on that day, guiding groups of traffic buses back, taxi buses back to the harbor, to have the cruise passengers back on time.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
January 9th is the date of the parliamentary elections. You can go out and cast your vote from 8 a.m. up until 8 p.m. Now, there have been questions I've received throughout the community in terms of do they get hours off in order to, from their employers, to go out and vote? Some even indicated, yeah, don't I get my 4 hours? Now, I should indicate to you that our legislation indicates otherwise. So that if you cannot cast your vote during the regular scheduled hours to vote to work, then your employer will have to give you then an amount of maximum 2 hours to do so. So, in other words, if you are working a 9-to-5 job, in principle, you can vote from 8 to 9 or from 5 to 8. Now, having said that, I do encourage the employers as much as possible to still grant those 2 hours, no matter what, in order to go for their employees to go out to vote. Of course, operations permitted, business operations permitted. The reason I'm actually encouraging that is to not only promote and stimulate persons to go out and vote, but also giving that particular day on January 9th that we have 5 cruise ships in port and the possible traffic congestions despite the measures that the KPSM have put into place in order to ensure the smooth maneuvering of persons. It would be good if that you still allow, as an employer, your employees to still those 2 hours to go out and vote. Again, the law, Article 45 of the Election Ordinance indicates that if you cannot vote during your scheduled hours, then the employer has to give you 2 hours maximum in order to vote. However, I would encourage employers still to give those 2 hours no matter what, given the traffic, the possible traffic congestion on that day.